It's time now for our weekly segment, Race in America. All week, Washington, D.C. has been gearing up for the Unite the Right Rally 2, which will be held in front of the White House this weekend. Jason Kessler, the rally organizer, was looking to hold the rally in Charlottesville, Virginia for the second year in a row. However, after difficulties in court, he withdrew his request and figured the White House would suit the alt-right. I spoke with Eugene Puryear, an activist with the Anti-War Answer Coalition, and I asked him, what message is Kessler sending by choosing the White House as the backdrop for this white supremacist rally? Take a look.
Well, I think the message that what he's at least trying to send is that there's some level of legitimacy to what they're doing, that here in front of the White House is a sign that they're just a part of the American fabric of life like any other political force. And I think it's a soft message that they identify with the Trump administration, which many people may remember at the Unite the Right 1 rally in Charlottesville. That was a big subtext leading up, is how many of these people were feeling like the Trump presidency had really energized them to come out and to come forward. So I think this is a continuation of that messaging, and also really an attempt to mainstream themselves by appearing in an area that appears to be like, oh, just like any other rally happening in America.
All right, it's expected that during the Unite the Right Rally 2 that we will hear neo-Nazis, we're going to hear KKK members speak. But what message does that send to the average American or the black or the Jew who's been victimized by these hate groups? These people have been killed, they've been lynched or abused by these hate groups. So what message is that sending?
I think it sends a message that we're trying to come back, that we're trying to turn back the clock to an America where Jim Crow, lynchings, the Ku Klux Klan, Nazi sympathies. I mean, remember, Henry Ford was one of the biggest supporters the Nazis ever had, that those days are what they want to bring back. And they're trying to clothe it in different ways in the lead up. But when you look, they've got David Duke allegedly as a speaker. They've got a Holocaust denier allegedly as a speaker. And I think they try to clothe themselves in this sort of right-wing Americanism as if they are, not that far away from Paul Ryan or some other mainstream Republican. But I think the real message that they send with their speakers and so on and so forth is that we're trying to turn back the clock. We're trying to turn back the clock to a time where these kind of words, these kind of policies were actually acceptable, maybe in the majority, to a time where at the very least nowadays they want to feel like they can be heard just as well as they could in 1920 when the Klan marched in hundreds of thousands down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Would you say, Eugene, that Americans are fed up with groups like the KKK, groups like the alt-right? Will you say that they're tired of seeing this take place with the many counter demonstrations that are being put together for Sunday? Would you say that that's evidence that Americans are sick and tired of this taking place?
Yes, I think people are fed up. I think on the one hand you have people who are fed up because they say these groups are terrible, these ideologies are totally discredited, why are they still rallying forces to their banner, and why is our society still producing people like that? And I think also on the other side there are a lot of folks who are more on the right wing in the United States who are fed up with people like this because they sort of rip the mask off a lot of policies that may seem to be race neutral, that may seem to not be similar to some of the things we've seen in the past, but whose disparate impact still vastly and disproportionately affects the black population, the LGBTQ population, and so on and so forth. And I think that they feel that this is embarrassing to them because they're talking about the Unite the Right 2, a lot of the things they want to talk about more in the right-wing political sphere, and they feel like, wow, well, these people are showing that maybe what we say we are, the actual results of our policies are a little bit different. So I think on both sides, people are fed up with seeing groups like this, and I absolutely think the counter-protests that are happening are reflective of that.
We were speaking earlier and saying that if the Black Panther Party wanted to host an event like this, it would probably be outlawed. So what's the difference between, obviously the Black Panther Party wasn't a terrorist organization, but they are being deemed that, just like the Black Lives Matter organization is being demonized. But why do you think that the alt-right and the KKK, who has a history, a well-known history in this country of doing wrong, doing damage, being threatening and killing people, why do you think they're not being demonized?
Well, I think that we don't take white supremacist terror serious in this country. I mean, if 100 Muslims who said they were al-Qaeda sympathizers wanted to show up, they would not be allowed to rally here in Lafayette Park. They would probably be surveilled and arrested for being affiliated with an illegal organization from the point of view of how the U.S. has deemed organizations as terrorists. But even though the majority of terrorist attacks that have been committed here in the United States going well back into the 1990s and 1980s have been conducted by these white supremacist organizations, we don't look at it like that, and we don't look at those organizations organizations like that as a society. And quite frankly, this current administration has downgraded the importance of white supremacist terror in terms of what the Department of Justice is doing. And I think that we just don't put them, if you're black, if you're brown, you're put in a very different box in terms of what's considered terrorism, what's considered violent, than if you're a white hate monger.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.